Okay, I did not see that coming. So that's his quirk? Huh. That is actually an excellent quirk for a leader, especially since a leader had to take up the burden of controlling everything and everyone. So it only makes sense to have a quirk like that. But I was right about, the rally guy. I had a sneaking suspicion his quirk had something to do with the performance of everyone else, and I was right. And you know what? That quirk makes perfect sense as well, more so than Redestro's, because he's a corrupt politician. And what does a politician do? They rally people. Angry anime fan, the despair reviewer here. This is Boku no Hero Academia chapter 233. And well, a lot of things happen this chapter, but unfortunately we won't find out what happens next week to it. Because, well, as you know, it is what it is. Either way, in this chapter, Shiriaki confronts Ridestro, who now has grown up to be the size of a gorilla, or King Kong. Well, not King Kong, he's still smaller than King Kong. Donkey Kong, maybe. Either way, massive and extremely muscular. As he mocks him for saying many things and more, he begins to fight as Twice tries to take measures of the unconscious Toga. Although Toga didn't really want to be measured because, well, she is a girl. Apparently, Twice is going to multiply her and then give her a transfusion. Actually, there was someone who once wondered, is it possible that Twice can heal people? I mean, it's still not exactly confirmed how Twice's quirk works. I mean, there were some fan theories that his clones could collapse and then the collapse could merge with the original user, therefore healing or something like that, although that would probably not make sense. What he does here is somewhat similar. Apparently, if his words are true, he can copy another one and make the clone give the blood transfusion to those that have lost blood. Since the copy will have the same blood as the original person, then he can practically drain the clone of blood just to save the other one. In a way, that is a very interesting medical way to do it. So, well, either way, Spinner on the meantime is confronting the rally guy, saying that he's gonna lessen the burdens. But of course, this measuring guy do not really take Spinner seriously. Considers him someone who's not even in the same league as him. And he decides to take on forward his masks as his quirk is revealed. His quirk. His quirk is named to be Rally, and it's basically just what we all presumed it to be. Basically, that it harbors a special we didn't expect it harbored a special electromagnetic pulse, but what it does is, the easiest way to say it, the more someone trusts him, the more he can rally that person's physical and mental status and making them stronger. This effect will be amplified. The effect increases with the amplitude of his voice, the sound wave he produces, meaning the more confidence he is, the more he can do it. So yeah, it is just as we all suspected. We all thought that he would have a rally quirk, because after all, he is a corrupt politician, so why not have a quirk like that? I don't really hear his liberation code name, although his deterrent high quality mask is called 7th Loud, or something like that. So, well, so either way, it's the fact that Spinner reveals that he doesn't really have anything worth that he loves. But actually, having heard Shigeru's speech about destroying everything, he strangely decides he wants to see what kind of world that builds into. That is kind of messed up. I mean, Shiriaki openly confirmed that he wants to destroy everything, and Spinner wanted change, but I guess he put up the logical argument that he wants change and destruction will bring forth change. So Even if Shiriaki wants to destroy everything, that will bring forth a change. So he wants to follow him. And he does, and even though as much as the politician mocks him for everything this and that, he actually in his mind only says that I know that better than anything. After all, I have been living my life a hazy, feverish blur. But then he saw, as you all know, the face of Stain, and realizes he was burned with passion. He wants to see what he can do. But then suddenly skeptic or whatever is actually getting in close to Dabi, all the while saying that failure. This was not a failure. This was not a failure. Oh, he disgusts me greatly. Well, it seems the villain alliance is in a pinch, because even Shiriaki cannot overpower the leader as his arm gets broken. Because it turns out that the quirk Redestro has is also a quirk very fitting for a leader. There have been some implications that he is going to have multiple quirks, and while that would be very sweet, actually what he does have is something completely different. He had the quirk, he had the power ability to increase his size. Yes, his entire body to a big muscular size. But why? Well, that is the surprise. His special ability, aka quirk, because I'm not gonna call him special ability because I look down on the Liberation Army, is actually called stress. Basically, he can turn his pent-up stress into raw power, and the more he accumulates, the stronger and larger he becomes. As a leader of the Liberation Army, as someone who burdens himself with the purpose of change, as CEO of a company that needs to have good quality moments, as someone who always have to look good in a certain way, as someone who is always saying many different speeches and seems to have a little bit of a mood swing, that is surprisingly a very fitting quirk for someone like him. The chapter ends as it turns out that Sliding Go and the other corrupt heroes working for the Liberation Army have actually shut off the place, saying a villain is going wild in the city. You know, I find that pretty strange, you know. They are not letting innocent people into this. Do they sincerely do not want to include innocent civilians until their message has been heard? I mean, if you think about it, why would people really buy that a few heroes are saying it's going wild in the city? But that's not how the chapter ends. The chapter ends with what Sliding Go considers to be an earthquake, because he sees something shaking. An earthquake, huh? Is it possible it is Giga? Alas, we won't find that out next week, because for some reason Boku no Hero Academia is on a break next week. Well, Black Clover was on a break this week, so now Boku no Hero. It is not a good sign. But yeah, this was an action-packed chapter. A lot of things happened. Almost too many things, but for some surprising reason I did not mind that. We got some answers on the quirks. We got to see Spinner's motivations. Yeah, the entire villain alliance there, except for Dabi, they are all pretty close now. Now that is all is left is Dabi! So give me Dabi already! Give me his backstory, damn it! Confirm that he's Toya or whatever. Or at least make him go for some character development. Oh, not that I care about the villain alliance, because I consider all of them scum, but the thing is that Dabi is the only one who is pretty indifferent to everyone's thoughts. Then again, we haven't seen Mr. Compress's past either, but if you're gonna give us something, then at least give us that. But if an earthquake is on its way, then probably means Giga is on its way. Ooh, the villain alliance is in trouble now. But I'm more about wondering that if Redestro's quirk allows him to turn stress into raw power, then how the hell can Shiriaki defeat him? You give me your thoughts if you have any.